So this is the Root River State Biking Trail. I started in Lanesboro and I ended up on some side roads. Now I'm on the trail, but I had to take side roads because of where I was at and where I started. I didn't start right on the trail, but the trail, once you get up here a little bit, you get into all these trees. And I got to tell you, this is seriously one of my favorite trails to bike on. You're through the majority of the ride, you're completely in trees, and the pavement in this on this trail is one of the best pavements I've seen. I rode it on it for 30 miles, 30 miles in, 30 miles back, and I saw one crack. Now it's not like smooth blacktop or anything. It's like this, like rocky, hard rocky, I mean, it's cement pavement, whatever, but there's no cracks in it. It's very well maintained, and you can see all the trees. And the day that I did this, it was probably it wasn't 100, but it was probably about 95 degrees. But when you're in all these trees riding, it's like 10 degrees cooler. And the whole ride's like this until you get into the cities. And if you can look, I don't know if you can really see it in the video, but just to the right there, I'm going from west to east, and just to the right, that's where the Root River runs. And the majority of the trail, you're right next to it. It kind of swerves off, and you get away from it a little bit, but for the most part, it's right there. You can see it for most of the ride. I mean, sometimes the trees and stuff get in the way, and you have to stand up on your bike if you want to see it, but you can see it for most of the ride. But it's super smooth. It's a very well-maintained trail. One of the most well-maintained trails that I've come across. It's I would say it's highly trafficked in a sense, but kind of lightly used at the same time. Like, you'll see a lot of people when you're on it. I was there on a Sunday afternoon, and I saw, I don't know, you passed quite a few people, but it wasn't like there weren't tons of people. But it's really, really, really nice. And I did from Lanesboro to Houston, which is about 30 miles each way. And the full length of the trail, you can start further up. I know it goes up to Fountain, which is further west of Lanesboro. And I guess from Fountain to Lanesboro is all downhill. So if you're going the other way, Lanesboro to Fountain, it would be uphill the whole way. And when you get past Rushford, between Rushford and Houston, it gets really hilly in there. And my GoPro battery died before I got to that point, so you don't get to see the hills. But for the most part, all of this is completely flat. There's some like flat or rolling, I guess you could say. This is one of the towns. That must be Peterson. Yeah, I think that was Peterson. And then the next town you get to, I think, is Rushford. Um, but it's pretty flat. It rolls and you go up like slight hills, but it's next to nothing as far as any kind of grade that you have to go to, except for, like I said, from Fountain to Lanesboro, it's all a hill. And from Rushford to Houston, there's a section that it's very hilly. But for the most part, the whole thing is completely flat like this. And for the most part, aside from when you're in the cities, you're completely covered in trees. The sun comes through the trees. You're not like It's not like a dense forest or anything, but you're completely covered for the most part. We'll hear this part now after I say that. Now we're in sunshine, but I'm getting close to the next city. And once I got up to Rushford, I had stopped to look at this sign, and we'll see it in a minute when I get up here. And I'm in Rushford, and I stop and look at the sign, and all of a sudden I'm eating a snack and sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear AC/DC Back in Black just blaring. And you'll see it at the end. I had to ride over there and check out this bar. Had this, they were, I don't, it had an outdoor, it wasn't a band. They were just like playing music really loud. And it was kind of cool. I sat there, I had some pizza with this one dude that was there. And then I finished my ride, and the GoPro cut out before I actually finished. So this video is going to end in a little bit, and it'll end right after after the AC/DC section. But it was a really nice bike ride, and seriously one of my favorite trails to ride. Here's the AC/DC. I had to go over and see what was going on. And you can hear it just started blaring, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, I gotta go see what this is. And yeah, it was just this bar right up here. But anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.